don't even care what people think. They're all girls, by the way. They're all female bees that you see. Once in a while you'll see a male, but pretty seldom. So, guys, calm down. They're bees. But I realized early on that there's a process by which we can evaluate these kind of claims, and that the process is still going on, even as people were building jet airliners and flying to the moon, that there was a lot about flight that was not understood. And indeed, my friends, the process by which bees fly wasn't really figured out until just a few years ago. They go down and back and down, like they get downward. They get downward air moment. You get air moving down, have momentum going down, going both ways. Not easy to do, but then not a bee. So I was brought up with this, and this is my father. Actually, it's a picture of my father. He wasn't that tall. He was quite the rock. I know in Florida there's a lot of sand, but you don't see rocks. It's like I just thought I'd help you out here. There's a lot of them. And he was quite the rock. Any geology people here? Yes. You will recognize these people later because they walk around like this. Just hoping, and then once in a while, and then you go to their dorm room or whatever, and there's just rocks. And she'll explain to you, well, no, this one's different. Dad did that, yeah. But anyway, he was Ned and I, boy scientist. He believed in the process of science. We grew up in this academic tradition, and he had one, I think, fantastic idea. And that was he wanted to marry this woman. Oh, she was hot. Yes. She was. By the way, if you go to Johns Hopkins, a bookstore, they haven't changed the font at all. Like the T-shirt looks exactly the same. Like, let's get some ideas, people. Anyway, her father would not let them get married until after she was graduated from college. She was a couple years older than she was. And so he was in law school. Anybody in law school here? You hear how happy they are. My father was in law school. This might strike you guys as very unusual. He didn't like it. Most people love law school. They can't wait. Anyway, so he took a summer job on Wake Island. If you've never heard of Wake Island, you go to Hawaii and then you go about that far again, and there's this little atoll in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, middle of the Pacific Ocean, called Wake Island, and it's big enough to put a runway on, and there's still over 700 landings a year. Anyway, my father was the college kid, and so he was responsible for refueling these planes. These are the Boeing Clippers. And there is no Boeing Clipper intact today. I guess landing on the ocean kind of beats the heck out of planes and they fall apart. There's a lot of pieces. But I've talked to guys who were there with him, and they're skeptical, but a couple people are not skeptical. This could be my dad. Working all summer. And so it was so great, he was making money, had no place to spend it, because they're all on this island in the middle of nowhere. So he decided to stay for another semester at least, and everything was cool, or actually quite warm, like tonight. You guys all stood out there in the rain, many of you. Thank you, thank you. I love you all.
Now told me he loves me. Changed my life.
If it's raining, you just keep going. They watch movies at night, just in the rain, in fun. And everything was great. It was cool until December 8th, 1941. So Wake Island is across the international date line. So it was December 8th on Wake Island, but it was December 7th on Pearl Harbor. And this is a newspaper that my grandmother kept. And you guys, I know we all lived through 9/11, and by any reasonable standard, that kind of sucked. But this Pearl Harbor thing was a big deal. was like the world ended. I mean, these people just, everything was bombed, all the ships were sunk, and the United States felt extremely vulnerable. They had lookouts all along the Pacific and Atlantic coast looking for submarines. People were just terrified. And my father and his buddies just disappeared. This thing was a very reasonable, this newspaper, the Evening Star, was when we had 2 newspapers a day, one in the morning, one in the evening. And it's very good value, 3 cents. The grown-ups, the people my age, will go on and on. Back when I was young, we took the holidays seriously. Christmas holidays were very important when I was, now these people today, it's all commercialized. Just let me show you something. Below the fold of this newspaper, 14 shopping days till Christmas. It's the same. But it is for war bonds. I mean, I'll give them that. But anyway, these guys just disappeared. There was no, the radios were destroyed. There was no Twitter, no Facebook. Yeah, I know. What did they do all day? Well, what happened? Yeah. So they were taken to China and then later Japan as prisoners of war. Meanwhile, my mother happened to be graduated in the spring of 1941 from Goucher College. And if you're not familiar, Johns Hopkins is a big school in Baltimore, Maryland. And back when they had such things, Goucher was a sister school. Yeah, so if you guys, if you wanted to meet girls, you had to go like across town. Oh, the humanity. It's probably a shorter distance than getting across campus, now that I think about it. Much shorter. Anyway, so the Secretary of War, Henry Stimson, had a first cousin, Dorothy Stimson, who was the Dean of Students.